Well, I was doing it anyway.
Special council meeting Monday, July 13th, 2026, 6 p.m. City clerk, please give the roll call.
Councilman Baker.
Present.
Councilwoman Frizzell.
Here.
Councilwoman Holtzhauser.
Present.
Councilman Phillips. Councilman Poston.
Here.
Councilwoman Sherman.
Here.
Councilwoman Sitton.
Here.
Councilman Griffin.
Here.
With there being a quorum, I call this meeting to order. If you would please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The chair will entertain a motion to amend the agenda, adding the consideration of appointment of Carmen York to the Historic Preservation Committee.
I make a motion.
We have a first and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. The chair will now entertain a motion to appoint Carmen York to the Historic Preservation Committee.
I make the motion.
We have a first and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, like sign. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. The chair will now entertain a motion to appoint Karen Stepley to the Historic Preservation Committee.
Make a motion.
We have a first and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. The chair will now entertain a motion to approve the special event application for the Ecumenical Vacation Bible School.
I make the motion. I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. The chair will entertain a motion to close part of the city council's meeting pursuant to RSMO 610.021 for the purpose of discussing the following: hiring, firing, disciplining, and promoting of particular employees by the city, RSMO 610.021, subchapter 3. Individually identified personnel records, performance ratings, or records pertaining to employees, RSMO 610.021, paragraph 13.
I make a motion.
We have a first and second. Is there any discussion? City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Councilman Baker,
Yes.
Councilwoman Frazeau,
Yes.
Councilman Holzhauser,
Yes.
Councilman Phillips, Councilman Poston,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sherman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sitton,
Yes.
Councilman Griffin.
Yes.
We are now in closed session.
guys did those closed sessions afterwards.
It was a special meeting, so it was after the special meeting. It's
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
Yeah, I have mine all.
the best hour and a half of my life. Thank you guys for helping me out.
This. Oh, this is City Hall.
I said, "What do you think?" You were like, "Art room?" And I said, "What's up there?"
He went to get his phone. Yeah, we'll call him. Do you have your phone or he's got it?
I just told him.
He's not answering.
Oh.
Go get your phone and call him again because my phone's gonna die.
It's not gonna.
Hey, John, we're here.
I did not want my kid.
Work study session, Monday, July 13th, 2026.
We need to adjourn the special.
We did that.
We have to adjourn it in open session.
Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion. Second.
We have a first and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. We are adjourned.
Okay, good job.
Work study session, Monday, July 13th, 2026, 7:25 PM. City clerk, please give the roll call.
Councilman Baker. Councilwoman Fredo.
Present.
Councilman Holzhauser. Councilman Phillips. Councilman Phillips.
We got Councilman Phillips.
Shots out here.
Okay. Councilman Poston.
Here.
Councilman Sherman.
Here.
Councilwoman Sitton.
Here.
Councilman Griffin.
With there being a quorum, I will call this meeting to order. If there are no corrections needed to be made, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the agenda. We have a first and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, like sign. The agenda will stand as is. Next on the agenda, council of the whole Pyramid Heating and Cooling Library contract review. I don't know if everybody's
Heating
had
and
a
Cooling
chance to
Library
take a look
review.
at that
Who is it?
contract. I think this is something that the library board had kind of reviewed.
Yeah.
Is this just like an annual maintenance type agreement?
Right, I think it is.
Yes. Hey, we can hear you now.
Okay, great, thank you. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
We're going over the Pyramid Heating and Cooling contract.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Service agreement. Okay.
I do, I want to make a motion, we just go ahead and approve that $250 for the inspections and operations.
We can, it's a work study.
This is just a review.
It's just for general review.
Yes.
Oh, yes, right, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, point of order, I don't think we can vote
Yeah, yeah.
via telephone.
That would be an attorney question for us.
Pretty sure it's an order.
I don't think.
We can't.
Off the top of my head, I don't think we can.
But we won't be voting.
But we can't,
Right.
we can't vote, because it's a,
This is just a review.
I have nothing to present regarding that particular contract, other than, it was presented from the library for the council's consideration. As Councilman Griffin had indicated, it's a general, yearly maintenance contract. So,
So any discussion on that?
I think $20 is a reasonable price.
So it's a two, there's three contracts here. Two twenty contract or 220?
Right.
I might have gave you an extra hour.
Oh, yeah.
No, there's two different units.
That will be taken out of the library funds on that?
Yes, that will come out of the library's budget, and it would have been, budgeted for, during the 26-27 fiscal year.
Yeah. So it's two AC units. These have different series numbers.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, so is it 220 per unit?
Yes. I would assume yes. And if the council would like, we can arrange for a representative of the library to be here at the regular session, when it's under its formal consideration.
Maybe help.
Okay, yeah.
Did I hear somebody ask if that's 220 per unit?
Yes, there's 2 units.
Okay, so it'll be 440.
Councilman Polston indicated that having a representative of the library here at the 27th regular council meeting would be beneficial to answer some questions regarding this.
Okay, no other discussion, we'll move on. At this time, I will open the floor to any citizen that wishes to speak about their concern with the block cameras. Someone had some concerns or?
I was just seeing all of the questions about them, and I'd like clarification on what they're actually used for and what the cost to the city is, and some specifics, because we really haven't seen anything about it.
Josh, you want to come up and answer some of those questions?
So the first thing is they don't cost the city anything. They were paid for by the shield. And they look out for wanted persons, missing persons, stolen vehicles, things like that. And then they can also be utilized, let's say, I'll give you a hypothetical of one we just had. We had a theft here in town, and it was at a certain time of night where we are able to search it if we have a legitimate law enforcement purpose, like a crime, or it has to be a legitimate purpose in order to search it to try and develop some leads about that. So it protects them. It protects the business.
How do you avoid all of the misuse that has been put out about them?
Everything that is done in the system is logged, so
Do,
I don't know
does
a way.
just our police department have access to the machines
So-
that are here?
So if other agencies can query the system, but only, again, if they have a legitimate law enforcement purpose to do so. And we have access to those logs, but we can go back and see, what was utilized for what. But,
And there's no kind of ongoing cost? How do you avoid an ongoing cost? If there's,
it's been paid for.
software or,
So it's been paid for the first 2 years by the Blue Shield grant. After that, it'll be up to us whether we want to, there's other grant funding that we can utilize and to renew it if we want to pass that. But the way it stands, we're not in anything outside of the 2-year contract with Blue Shield grants.
and did the council approve the installation of them? I don't ever remember seeing anything about it.
It was brought to the council probably every time I don't know that it was voted on by the council, but the council was well aware of it. It was brought to their attention for probably 7 months while we were in the process of it.
Do we have a total of how many block cameras?
So there's 7. Our contract was actually only for 5. So that's all the Blue Shield grant paid for was 5. The other 2, I think somewhere along their lines, it got crossed and they installed the other two additional ones as well. That's not something we pay for.
Same people installed all 7.
Yeah, it was flocked, and I think they probably got their lines crossed because their original proposal was for 7. And we had whittled 2 down.
Is there a block camera on the bridge?
There's one up at Airco and then there's one at Fast Lane. and then Pike County, Illinois.
There's one at Fast Lane and one at Erico. On the bridge itself, there's no,
There's not one on the bridge.
not one on the bridge.
There's one that records traffic just as you're going to the area.
So do you all monitor it?
So they're not monitored, all right, well, let me think how to explain to you. So they're not monitored consistently. The system automatically scans it, and if there's ways that are entered as stolen, like I said, the people, one of the persons they can attach to vehicles that they own to them, those will pop up, missing persons, things like that. And we get alerts with those types of things, like any Amber alert that comes through, it automatically sends alerts to the officer's phone so they can intercept those people that have warrants or things like that.
Can you physically put in a license plate to be looked for?
So I can, but I have to have a legitimate law enforcement purpose for it. Like say, just give them, like my theft reasoning, say you had an arson suspect, or really a suspect of any crime, you could query that vehicle and see. And you can not only query it locally, you can query it statewide to see, you know, what's going on with that. Where that person potentially is, that you can get it apprehended.
Because we're right here on the river in the state line, are you allowed to also do Illinois?
Yeah, and Pike County, Illinois has several cameras. They have, I think 2 as you go to Pittsfield, and Pittsfield themselves has 3 or 4 of them at least. And I think Rawls County, Hannibal, Troy, Old Monroe has several. I mean, they're utilized. I think it was upwards of 70,000 law enforcement agencies utilized.
We had a citizen that said we should do a ordinance. Do you think that's necessary
An ordinance for,
for the flock cameras, or the use of them?
and it's all governed. Being as how it pertains to law enforcement sensitive information, it's all governed by CJIS anyway. So any misuse of it is a crime that then officers, whoever misuses it can then be held accountable for that.
What kind of, I'm sorry, Josh, what kind of tools do we have for access to these tools? My concern is we turn more surveillance, right? And I'm concerned about abuse of vehicles. And I'm one who believes we should use technology to enforce it. But, how far do we go here? Where we have 7 flock cameras in a town this size, the perception is that you're spying on people. Now, I'm not saying that's true, but that may be the perception.
So we have policy that governs the use of them, and like I said, we can't just query the system to spy on Joe Blow. We literally have to have a legitimate law enforcement purpose in order to query the system. Same as what it would be if we were to like run an individual or things like this. There has to be a crime that's involved in it in order to query.
So you have that warrant? I'm just trying to gather information.
No, you don't have to have a warrant for it, but you have to have a legitimate law enforcement purpose.
Okay, probable cause.
Now, in this case, along those lines, be reasonable suspicion.
Okay.
But we do have a written policy that I can get everyone here so they can see what the written policy is regarding the usage of.
Just to answer questions, that would help us if we can read it, pass down to the receivers and the council.
And I know some of the questions are, does it record people driving, anything like that? No, it does not. It does not. They do not issue any tickets or do anything crazy like that. All it does is record the vehicle and the plate. That's it. And it doesn't even pull up, like, say, if I were to pull up a report, it wouldn't show me, these are the names of all the registered drivers that have not passed. There's no such report that I can pull up. There's nothing like that. It's just the demographics of the vehicle itself.
But if you had a case where you had a burglary and somebody said, well, those guys wore a white sweatshirt and blue jeans and everything, that would also, if somebody was walking down the street, that it wouldn't show that.
No, it only takes pictures of vehicles, not persons walking.
Okay.
And it's also not a system that you can query live, like I couldn't, the camera down here at 79 Bungie, I could not just get on that camera and just watch the camera. You know, there has to be, like I said, a legitimate law enforcement reason to get on it, so. And it's not live, it's in the query of past information.
Yeah, I think it would be helpful if you could share that policy with us. I just want to make sure that we guard against the council interfering in the enforcement of the law. So, but I think it would be educational for the council to see that policy, so then we can make an informed decision as to whether this is something we need to deal with. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, I'll have it in your all's email tomorrow.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I think it's just a misinformation of the people not understanding what it is exactly.
And I mean, can I stand here and say that no, any system is completely infallible and beyond any kind of tampering with? No, I can't, but that's because humanity is involved in everything. So there are safeguards in place to protect against any of that, and those people that if they misuse it will be held accountable. It's no different than the Missouri Uniform Law Enforcement System we run people with. It's a crime for us to misuse that and run people just because we wanted to, you know, so.
Okay, any other questions? Thanks, Josh. Okay, we'll go on into committee reports. If any committee has anything to report, you may do so when I say the committee names. We'll start with maintenance. Anything on maintenance? Infrastructure, grounds, streets, and sidewalks. Public safety and police hiring.
I have one thing. I wanted to let everybody know that I am resigning off of that and I'm gonna say the reason, because it was told to me that we might be getting sued if I continued asking questions. So I don't want that to happen to our city, because I love it and I put too much of my blood, sweat, and tears in this town to let that happen. So I have resigned from that.
And knowing that, I did contact Councilman Holston, and he said that he would fill in where that absence is. Anything else on public safety and police? Ordinance?
Other than we need to set a meeting for next week, so I kind of need to know when. Just before us second here, what day we can set them. Alice. Yeah, we need to go in this. I'm pretty good.
John's
doing that.
having a meeting on Monday, correct?
Yes.
Economic development.
I'm out of town, we leave Saturday. So that's 12 days.
So we can still do it with 3 hours.
Wait a second, John.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
And then say Wednesday's good for you?
Next week, yeah.
Okay, so we will do it Wednesday, 6 o'clock, and we'll meet here and go to a cooler room. So Riley got that before you.
I got you guys. I got you.
Okay, anything else? Economic development.
I talked about with respect to renewal, ECU, and suggestions from the council members.
We want to get ideas from council and individuals, citizens here in town. We're basically just looking for ideas. And we're going to create a list of projects citizens and council people want to see happen in the city. And then we're going to sit down and see how we can flush those out, how we can do it on a limited budget. one of the projects I want to see done is something with this lot next to us. When people come in from 79, we see that, some kind of a meeting place. We're gonna be putting something out, asking the community for ideas, what they think would be nice there. Do a drawing, whatever, to show us what they have to see. We may not be able to do it to that, but like be part of this and part of that. I want to get the community involved. One of the things I also like to do, I like to garden, and we have one put perennials in there, so I'm hoping I'm going to speak to the garden club next week and talk to them about fitting out some of their perennials, and so that we can get donated plants to it, keep the cost down, and get people to come help with whatever design we decide on. I'm also talking to the garden club about putting some flowers on our poles downtown to make us more appealing, because as we have people coming, Janine has now finished the 3, or nearly finished the 3 buildings. I don't want to say she's for sure done, but thank goodness for her, they look great. She's going to be wanting to show those to people. We need to look like a town people want to come and live in. And so we want to boost things up. We want to get things going. So I'd like everybody's opinion, citizens council, what they think, just a quick little idea, what they think. What would be something to them that would make our town look more environmental?
I think to take that fountain down in that one park, but it's not working. Make a safety thing up there.
Yeah, I attended the chamber meeting today at noon, and that was discussed about moving that fountain. Also, a little bit more on the lot here. So some coordinated efforts got to be made for economic development, tourism. Everybody need to get together on this.
Yes.
So,
Main Street.
yeah, the Main Street
Which Susan
program.
and I are talking about at the garden club next Tuesday.
Because you attended the Main Street.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we need to do that, because then we can coordinate those different things between the different. So we can get the grade school involved with planting. And Clinton has offered for the water department, we were talking. That's what did I offer? To water the
You can put water in.
painting planters,
Oh,
because
we can,
that is a little bit older, and I
We'll do
don't
it.
want to see
or
them.
we'll do it every week.
How they turn out.
Yeah, the other thing the chamber was also talking about was our entry sign down the bottom, as far as redoing that too. So there's some designs that they had fabricated up, so there's some talk in that direction also.
To rebuild it or to buy something new?
Do something new, not rebuild it.
Well, I mean,
this
not
is-
rebuild what's
Right.
there,
Yeah,
but.
this would be more like stone pillars and
Yeah.
and a nice big sign,
We have some workers in the town.
right?
So those are things that we need to get them out so we can start pushing moving forward.
Sure. Yes.
My whole thing here is, I think it's great with this Main Street America and all these efforts, and I think we as a city need to do everything we can to help these people run with those problems. Or with those programs, I should say, and encourage them and help them in any way that we can. At the same time, have a coordinated effort. And part of the council, and I would like the council, just, each person could just, it was 1 or 2 things we could concentrate on their ideas. And then we could, and as the Economic Development Committee, we could take those and start coming up with some sort of a plan.
Yeah, I think,
Approach, whatever you want to call it.
yeah, I think I think we're all pretty much in agreement with
I
that.
talked to the resident about it, and they said they're on board on getting together and working together as a group.
Yeah, that's good. Cindy, you have anything to add?
I think the chamber voted to go ahead, and Brooke has agreed to be, interim director for Main Street, she said. So, I think Alice and Susan were worried about the cost, the initial cost, because Main Street wants to charge $18,000,
I haven't heard that number.
15, 18,
It
something
was
like
like,
that.
it was high.
But we don't, I mean, we've done it before. And the Main Street 101 course is free. So anybody that wants to go on to the Main Street website and go through the course, it's very detailed, and the handbooks are all free. I don't know what they want $18,000 to do.
Well, what they will do is basically come
It's always
and
been.
be our partners and step by step tell us.
But there's a lot of us that have been there and done it before, so I don't think we need to spend $18,000
Well,
that
when
we
we're
don't have.
starting, a lot of this is renovating, building, so we're very blessed to have these streets.
So they got all that.
We've already kind of step up on that one, so the three of us talked about it, on the way back and thought that was just money that one don't have to spend and actually they can use.
I don't think so.
And we can do it ourselves. Main Street, we can do that.
Yeah,
Done by,
we've done it before, we can do it.
and if anybody wants to look at that, I have all the information that we've got at the meeting. I can bring it in here and leave it downstairs if anyone wants to read it.
Okay, that's good. Let's, well, that done? What do you want? Okay, next one is tourism, housing, health, senior services, and disadvantage.
Well, Cindy is our chair, for health, housing, and senior services. I have nothing to report. They seem to be getting the things that they need, and John was gonna volunteer to help with the few deliveries they needed. But as far as tourism, we'll be meeting tomorrow night, and we're working on talking about the billboard, replacing it. We've renewed the contract, and we're gonna get a new, billboard out there at 54 in Business, 54. And then we need a new vinyl. Cindy is working on cemetery tours and, picking, I think you would say about 15.
So it's gonna be about 15.
Oh, I don't know what it is.
We've got a lot of notable burials in our cemetery. So we thought it'd be fun to do a cemetery tour, and it'll be a QR code tour, so when you go into the cemetery, you'll get general information about the start of the cemetery and the history of it. And then it'll direct them to the first, site, I think, which would be probably Mr. Trimble on the left. And you can use the QR code, and on your phone, it'll give you the history of Mr. Trimble and his contributions to actually the nation. But then there's, the Burnett Buell to where the Opera House people and 15 other people. Anyway, but each QR code then will have a brief history of each one of those burials. Then the other one is the mural tour. We've identified all of the contracts that the murals had. And I think probably what we're gonna do is contact the property owners to make sure that they're, that they're responsible for those, to make sure that they're up to date.
We've had, in the last 6 months, we've had an issue with 2 of the murals. The MFA one off of the old ice house, and now the one on the glove factory.
Uh-huh.
And I told him we would do our best to try to find who's the owner of that glove factory, because we think that was kind of sold under the table to somebody that's not real. And in a sense, it's probably going to be best to maybe just, I don't know how to get it off there.
Well, I have the contracts, so we might have to have the attorney maybe look at those to
Yeah.
see if we can take possession back of those, or I don't know, but,
I just wanted to share that, so, because I, that way you're aware of that.
yeah.
I know that they put the one off the ice house on the MFA building, and it looks really good, but it's changed buildings now, so.
That's been put on a stand. or whatever.
Yeah, they bought all the hardware and everything and have fixed it to that building.
Okay, well, good.
Right now.
I went and did an inventory of all of them, and most of them don't look bad. There's a couple that really need some attention. The worst one is the one that's on the back of the old Fowler
On that
Yard building.
block wall.
The church's one, and I got Cindy, that was Cindy Bogan's, and Cindy's already said that she would fix it. So, yeah, so we'll see how that plays out.
What happened to the one at the medical?
Got destroyed.
One other thing Cindy doesn't know about yet, but I'll tell her. One of my sons got me a book for my birthday on Mississippi River Valley and all the different things you can see. And unfortunately, Louisiana's not in it. But I read through, he has a website. And he has Louisiana on there, but you can't click on it, there's nothing there yet. So that's somebody that we can contact with things as soon as we get our items ready to go. He has his own website.
Budget is tomorrow night, so.
Yeah, well, I think he'll be free, this is something the website can just does. So I'm hoping, he's looking for information, so I'm hoping we can scratch his back. Scratch ours and this. So that's, pretty much it for tourism.
Okay. Enterprise Public Utilities.
I have one thing, and I wanted to get this out today. That way if there's any questions, or we can hopefully work through it before the next regular council meeting. So we currently have an issue. It is an issue, but it's not an issue. It needs to be dealt with. On our adjustment policy, we don't have an adjustment policy in black and white, other than how we sign off on it. But essentially, anytime that a utility customer uses water, whether they're filling up their swimming pool, they're watering their garden, things like that, if it doesn't go down the sewer, they want to get an adjustment. And monthly, during the summer months, we have customers that call wanting to get that adjustment, and it usually totals about $1.50. And so I did some research. I've kind of compared to other surrounding municipalities. For reference, Bowling Green, they have an adjustment policy where if you use the water, you pay for the water. If you fill your pool and you dump it in your yard, you're still paying for sewer. If you just let your hose run, you're still paying for the sewer. They don't do an adjustment off of that. With that being said, I created a resolution to be reviewed, and hopefully we can approve it at the next regular meeting. I also did an adjustment policy which reflects the resolution. I do want to point out one thing, because I know people are probably thinking I want to take it away. I put water use for irrigation. This will be on the second page. Water used for irrigation, lawn watering, gardening, swimming pool filling, or other outdoor purposes is considered intentional usage. Water charges will not be adjusted. However, the city recognizes that water typically does not enter the sanitary sewer system. So we understand that it doesn't enter the sanitary sewer system. We're still going to do that adjustment. The only change that I want to do is, instead of doing a monthly change, we do it one time in October. It is a tremendous amount of work to go through and do an adjustment for each person. We should just have a customer call, say I fill the swimming pool up, or I want to water my garden or my yard, or anything of that matter, and we can keep that in black and white, and then in October we can pull the whole usage report. This explains how we would do the adjustment. The city will provide one annual sewer adjustment for qualifying usage. It'll be completed once each October and will account for the eligible summer usage. The adjustment will be calculated by comparing summer water usages to the customer's established average usage for non-summer billing period. So basically, we would be able to run the average for non-summer billing, and that's what we would deduct off their sewer usage. I'm all for not doing the adjustment, but I know that a lot of people, I feel like essentially when they fill their swimming pool up to enjoy their time at home, they're paying for sewer. It's not really something they should have to pay for. So I want to continue to do that, but we just need something more black and white that says we're not going to do it every month for $1.50, but we'll do it in October for $15 or something along that lines. It also states in here, which is kind of already in ordinance now. So if a customer calls and says, hey, I had a water leak, we shut the water off, and then they continue to still use it and allow their water. We have customers, it's the strangest thing, we have citizens that will call and they will turn the water on when they know they need to flush the toilet or they want to take a shower or something. They'll just, instead of fixing it, they will just take reduced pressure showers. That is knowingly knowing that you have a leak. So in here, it basically says we'll do one leak adjustment occurrence per customer within a 12-month period. Because we have people that will call and say we had a water leak, they went out, they put some Flex Seal on it, and then in a month it's leaking again, and they expect us to do another adjustment. So this is to hold them liable. You know, DNR holds us, we have to hold them. Like when they have a leak on their side, you know, that's basically an issue for us too. Or that's a way into the water system if we haven't gotten every meter the way it's designed to be. So I just wanted to share that. I'll read over. If you have any questions, feel free to get with me, email me, however. It's not really taking anything away other than what we already do. It's just putting in black and white. Instead of monthly, we'll do it in October. The only other thing that I have for Enterprise, just to kind of keep you guys, the only other thing that I have is I have reached out to Danes. I still haven't received any information. I know we gave them a 60-day time frame, which will put us at this upcoming regular council meeting. And so it's gas prices have actually went down a little bit. Unless something substantial comes across, I would just recommend we continue to leave it the way it is and not do any changes there either.
Thank you. Community and employee relations.
There's nothing. Well, actually, the next day we have the annual handbook review. Part of- And Cameron, you want to talk about the annual handbook review?
Yes. Mayor, council, once a year after we complete the annual budget, it's been historically, we've done it, we've gone through, and we've just made basic revisions to the handbook. Regardless of the page that you have in front of you that shows, I think, 12 revisions, very few were made, aside from grammatical errors and things like that. I am not going to go down this entire list. I was intending to present this to you guys tonight, give you the 2 weeks to review it before the resolution is proposed at the regular meeting on the 27th. The only 2 things I would like to point out to you, well, 3 things. First is Mayor Haddock, Chief Baker, and Director Keller have all reviewed this, and we believe it's a good, honest reflection of the current city's personnel policies, and a reflection of where we want, how we want to deliver your guys' vision. So the 2 things I want to bring your attention to are near the back, on page 45 and 47. Something I think it was an imperative for us to get ahead of the curve on is AI usage in the workplace. This is something I discussed with many different people about a number of different ideas. For pages 45, artificial intelligence usage policy. It continues on to page 47, beginning under right above social media policy. This is a proposed new policy, completely new to the handbook. There hasn't been there previously. And so I would direct your attention to that. Essentially, it just gives Clinton, the mayor, myself, and Chief Baker in writing ways to analyze, use, and kind of use AI for the best benefit of the city, rather than just be something out there that we know employees are using. We don't really have any policy for, and in the case that, it should be misused, and we hope that doesn't happen, we have a policy in place to help us navigate those situations. On page 50 to 51, so this is something I'm really proud of, and I've been able to work again with Director Keller and Chief Baker on this. The employee of the month, I think in December or December was our first one, wasn't it? Okay. December was the first employee of the month. Something I think is very important, just for, even if it's an honorary certificate, that takes 5 seconds, 10 seconds to make and give out. I think that recognition of an employee is important. I also recognize that the city of Louisiana is not most individuals' final career goal. And so should someone, wish to put on their resume, hey, I won employee of the month 3 times in my 6 years there or whatever. And so I worked with them both to get a policy in here that solidifies employee of the month. Currently, the way it works, current employees, the police department and the city are eligible to vote for other current employees, and then just simply the individual that has the most votes, that's who wins. This would, one, provide this in writing. 2, it would provide enterprise employees also a method for which to be able to win employee of the month. It would be determined a little bit differently rather than just a vote by their peers. Each department head is able to, but not required, to propose or nominate an employee under their purview, as well as Chief Baker, Director Keller, and myself were able to propose one department head per month each to be considered. All of those individuals will be put together and considered based on merits listed in here. And then we would vote amongst the 3 of us to determine one employee in the city who would become employee of the month. Should there be a case where one of us isn't here or isn't able to vote and there is a tie, Mayor Haddock, there's a provision in here that would allow him to vote and be the tiebreaker. And then it just has some necessary housekeeping things, saying that just because you win employee of the month, no employment, no promotion, no additional compensation, anything like that is guaranteed, insinuated, or implied to be agreed upon. And so those are the 2 big changes. Anything else in it, they are highlighted. I did print this in black and white, but you'll see throughout it highlighted sections. I would encourage the council to review. Please get with me over the next couple weeks. And let me know if you have questions. And if you have any questions prepared to ask at the next council meeting, please let me know just ahead of time if you can, so I can come prepared with the best answers. So that's all I have on that. If you guys have any questions. All right, thank you.
Next is animal control.
Do we have any upgrades for animal control that we discussed?
I'm still looking for an animal control officer.
Okay, tree commission.
Mark, we discussed last meeting, trying to find some volunteers, some citizen volunteers. Do you have any luck?
No, heck no.
I had one gentleman that expressed interest.
Okay. You just send me this.
Yeah. I'll send it.
Next is miscellaneous business. Cameron.
Yes. So one of the biggest things, the city administrator, is my job is simply to enact the policies that you guys give me, the vision that you set, the direction you set for the city. It is simply my job, as you guys are aware, to coordinate the staff that you've entrusted to me in order to get that done. One of the things I had done, with this being my first city, I've been very open with my decision-making processes, with my mistakes. One of the things I've been very open with is I went to a conference back in February, and I had sought out one particular individual. His name was Jeff Hancock. He's a 50-year veteran of city government, and he's been an incredible resource for me. He's been an incredible mentor to me. He is also the president of a company called Interim Solutions. Interim Solutions, they provide solutions for the interim between city managers, I believe city treasurers as well, finance directors, depending on the classification of the city. And so Mark and I have met with the individual that I have brought here to speak with you guys tonight. I want to say thank you for waiting through all of this. I certainly owe you dinner after this. We brought him here to kind of discuss possibly a goal setting session with the council, where we can establish a solidified vision and really just kind of get everything on the same page. I think this would be a very beneficial thing for the staff. And so I've invited him here. His name is Mr. Scott Brighton. Did I say that correct? Okay. And so he's here to kind of present to you guys what that would entail and answer questions. He is also a 44-year veteran of city government, and also another incredible resource. And so, Mr. Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Mayor Hedges, nice to see you again in the city council. Yes, I've worked in local government for 44 years, 35 of them as a city manager. And I've worked in 4 states and 2 countries. Of the 44 years, I've spent 35 as a city manager. 9 and a half of those here in Missouri, and most of the rest in Illinois, but I've also been the city manager of the city in India. So Jeff is our founder and CEO of Interim Solutions. The name of the company sort of tells you how they started. They started by providing interim, usually managers, although we've expanded into clerks and finance officers and public works directors. Oftentimes, not always, by any means, oftentimes an organization, maybe because they've had a rocky situation or some organizational dysfunction, or they had to fire somebody. They just need somebody to come in and sort of calm the waters a little bit, maybe make some organizational changes with the assistance of the mayor and city council before they hire a permanent person. And so Interim Solutions has been doing that for a few years, and we branched out doing, in part because these are some of the skill sets that the various retired city managers like me and the other people that Jeff has on his team, these skill sets that they bring: soft skills training, providing goals and goal setting sessions and retreats, and some other functions as well, just to make sure that you are better local government officials. I've provided both to the mayor and to the administrator a proposed agreement for services. This doesn't have a little thing that holds the stuff on. Anyway, I'm going to pass this out, and I want to use it as a starting off point. Now,
Thanks, Scott. What was that?
thank you, Chief. Gotcha. I didn't know that was in your job description, but I'm glad it is. So this is an article that I co-wrote with a colleague of mine named Bill Stark. And it appeared last year in the Missouri Municipal League's monthly newsletter that you probably all received, as long as Louisiana is a member of the league, and I think that you are.
Yes.
And I understand that several of you came to the newly elected officials training that was held down in Columbia. I was there too, but I just didn't get a chance to meet you. You got to talk to Jeff. So I don't want you to sit and read this article here at the city council meeting. So let me just summarize it for you quickly, and you can read it later at your leisure. There's all sorts of characteristics and attributes that make city councils more effective. But there are 3 that repeatedly, and this shows up in all of the consulting. I retired 2 years ago as a city manager in Decatur, Illinois. And just sitting here for the 2 hours is like, that was a deja vu all over again. I went through the flood, over 100 of those cameras, and boy, did it increase. You're hearing all the issues that you're dealing with. It doesn't matter the size of the community. So much of it is the same. But the citizens in your communities, whether you like it or not, are going to judge your effectiveness on 3 primary things, lots of things. And it might not even seem fair, because you say, well, we achieved this, we did this sidewalk, we did this street, we did whatever. But there's 3 things that they're going to judge you most effective on. The first one is the council operating off of some kind of a common plan? Okay, there's 9 of you. You don't all have the same idea about what's best for Louisiana. So you need to have a plan, whether it's a 3-year plan or a 5-year plan, that's up to you, with measurable goals and outcomes. so that you can agree on that. I can't tell you how many times as a city manager, I'm at a city council meeting and a council member will say, Mr. Manager, why is this even on our agenda? And I can say, well, it's item 2 in your strategic plan. Oh yeah, that's right. And we agreed on this. You all, when 9 people who sometimes may not be together, but for any other reason than the fact that you're on the city council together, you have different ideas about where you want to take Louisiana, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. That's why you ran for office. But there needs to be a mechanism for making sure that we're all on the same page for that. And a strategic plan or goal setting retreat is a key way to do that. And whether your citizens necessarily agree with everything in the plan, they will perceive you as effective if you have one. Okay? And so one of the discussions, part of the discussion that I had with the mayor and with the administrator is that we facilitate that. I'm trained as a facilitator. I spent 6 years at the University of Georgia's Carl Vinson Institute of Government, providing consulting services to cities and counties in the Southeast and then internationally. That's how I ended up in India. So I'm trained as a facilitator. And so when I was at a city later on, when I came back, the mayor said, well, why don't you facilitate this? And no, I'm not going to do that because I can be the city manager or I can be the facilitator. I can't do both. And you need your city administrator to act as the city administrator when you're going to do that planning. And that's somebody else who knows local government, but doesn't necessarily have a dog in the hunt as to which items are identified as your priorities to facilitate it. The methodology that I use and that many other facilitators who work with local governments use is to meet with you one-on-one, probably not in person, but perhaps remotely by Zoom or phone or whatever works for you to discuss individually what some of your objectives are. Then I can bring that to the city council, facilitate the retreat, and then produce a report for you. The agreement that I provided to the mayor and to the administrator includes an addendum as well. I'm not sure if we get a chance to discuss this with the rest of the council. To do a little bit of
Not with the council.
to do a little bit of additional analysis, and I recommended that to happen before the retreat, so that, and I've had a chance to look at some of your administrative ordinances, and some of them sort of look like the normal source of ordinance. Some of them seem a little odd, to be honest with you. Some of them might be the cause of some dysfunction that you might have. Maybe just provide an outside look at how decisions are made, what decision processes you use, how the flow of information works, knowledge about what other communities, both in Missouri and Illinois, are doing, and then bring some of that information back at the retreat as well, because usually that kind of what we call organizational development and analysis results in some possible recommendations for the city council to act on. Anyway, so of the 3 things that you've judged as most effective on, one is, do you have a plan? The second is there clarity of the responsibility of the elected officials and the staff? I can't tell you how many times I've been in an organization that's not working for it because I solved those problems, but watching somebody else's where there's open fighting going on between the elected officials and the staff. And the staff needs to understand that certain decisions are rightly and properly to be made by the elected officials. Elected officials need to also understand what the staff's role is. Their job is to do professional analysis and to give you options and to run the day-to-day affairs, leaving the policy to you. How that actually works out in different communities sometimes runs smoothly, sometimes it doesn't. But the citizens don't care. If they see fighting, then you are perceived as less effective. So is the staff. Everybody suffers from that perception. And so to the extent that this engagement can maybe help out with some of those things, that's something that's on my radar screen, and the administrator and the mayor have put it on the radar screen. The third thing that citizens judge your effectiveness by, according to this article that Bill and I wrote, is how you run your meetings. Now, that wasn't discussed in our meetings, and you seem to have a very orderly meeting. But if you have any doubts that there are some really dysfunctional public meetings out there, just Google dysfunctional city council meetings, and you will be astounded at some of the things that happen. And if people are swearing in public meetings, being disrespectful and cutting people off, and don't have somebody who's as careful about running the meetings as Mayor Haddock is, it can just create this public image of chaos. And so those are the 3 things, like it or not. Citizens will judge your effectiveness by those 3. Do you have a plan? And do you follow the plan? Is there clarity of the responsibility of the elected officials and the staff. If not, how's that worked out so that, you know, if staff screws up, then you gotta deal with it, but not with public floggings in a televised city council meeting. You know, there's ways to deal with those issues. And third, our city council meetings run. So that's a brief highlight of the services that I offered based on my interactions and interviews with the mayor and the city administrator. And I've given them an agreement that allows us to proceed with that if it's their liking or yours, or however the decision-making process works. But by talking about this article and some of the other things that are in my experience, I hope that you can see that I can bring along with, as do all the other people that are part of Jeff Hancock's team at Interim Solutions, ways that we can help you out. Because at the end of the day, yes, we're a consulting business, but we want to see you succeed. We want to improve good governance at the local level. That's what we're all about. And everybody who's at Interim Solutions has lots of years working in local government. So, any questions? Anything else, Cameron or Mark, that you want me to cover that I didn't cover in my remarks?
Do you have anything?
I was just want to say that, yeah, I think you covered it really well. I think it does give us something to think about as far as the direction that we need to go. I think as a new council, most of us are new, and anything like that would be helpful for us.
You mentioned retreat. Is it like a day long thing, or how does it work, I guess?
Well, it can be as long or as short as you like, and at the end of the day, it's your decision. I find that to really do this well, you need to have at least about 6 hours. I mean, maybe start after breakfast, or have breakfast together and work through the morning, and then by mid-afternoon, break out. The mind can only absorb what the seat will endure, and so I found that it's sometimes it gets harder after about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon to stay focused. So I don't fight that and try to get it done in that much time. And I also recommend that you find a site location. I can't explain this psychologically. I'm not a psychologist, but somehow just getting out of your normal environment, maybe if it's just up the road at a meeting place in Hannibal or something like that, just gets you to thinking a little bit differently than in the same old place. Did I answer your question?
You did.
Questions at all? And we can present that. We haven't presented it to the council as far as the forum.
But you have it, don't you?
Yes.
Yes. So we can present that to them.
At the next meeting next week.
Yeah, we've got 2 weeks is our next actual council meeting, so that's a voting actual.
Okay. Yeah, because it would be an action item.
Right.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for letting me be a part of your agenda.
Yeah. Sorry we kept you so late.
So I can take any additional questions if there are any.
Can I have something, I have a question about that.
I just mentioned it about that.
Well, not about that, no.
Okay.
Can I back up into the meeting?
That would,
I didn't know where to chime in, because I don't know where
okay,
we're
now
allowed to
this
chime in anymore.
would be a good time, Stephanie.
So, back to public safety, I am here on behalf of one of our mail carrier, that works here in town. He's actually my good friend. In the last 3 weeks, we've had 2 mail carriers get bit by dogs. They have been tethered to, either a porch or something to where they can get to the mailbox. And, I don't know what's gonna come out of those. I mean, obviously I'm concerned about the mail carriers and like EMT, we have police force, anybody that goes up to these homes and these dogs are tethered to these houses. They may or may not be mean, they may be having a bad day, like this instance here. This dog is a very nice dog, she got it from our shelter here, but it happened to be protecting a newborn baby that's in the home now, so that's what happened to that situation. The first situation, I don't know, but you don't know what you're coming up on with a mail carrier, and I'm very concerned about this. They both had to go to ER, get
multiple rabies shots, stitches, you know, out of work for a day or whatever. This can't keep happening in town, obviously. So I don't know if there's something that can go on the city website or even the animal control website that someone can put an announcement out there. You know, they're not gonna get their mail, from what I understand. If the dog's out there, they're not gonna get their mail. So I don't know if that's something new that you wanna put out there and say, hey, if your dogs are tied up too close to your mail,
Right, I think that's
people get
something,
your mail.
I will make a graphic, it's very explanatory, and let them know specifically the dog biting, it is called subject to ordinances, so I'll make up a graphic and I'll send it to you personally.
The state mail carrier talked to another family just a couple days ago, and they had their dog tied up to the mailbox, and he told them, he's like, you can't do that in your mail. And the guy's like, well, our dog has never bitten anybody. Well, neither has this other dog. So I don't know if they moved it or not, but
Yeah, we'll get something put out about just reminding, hey, that you are responsible if your dog gets out and their mail, or if any kind of delivery package, because it goes for UPS also, right? That
there are some ordinances in place
for dog bites,
that covers that.
yeah, that was my next.
We talked before the meeting, let her know that we are aware of it when things are happening.
Well, and my other concern is, Josh, is I'm worried, of course, about the dog. I know how everybody takes it out on the dog, and the dog ends up at the pound and then maybe gets euthanized because, oh my gosh, it bit somebody. It's not the dog's fault, it's the human's fault. The humans are the ones that are tying into the whatever. So that's another thing I'm worried about, is the dogs are gonna get taken, you know, it's gonna be taken out on them, and I don't want to see that happen either. As well as you guys getting hurt if you go to the homes. So that's another one of my concerns. I hope that's not happening, and I hope that, you know, they're getting fined and whatever they need to get to stop this. So, like I said, dogs have bad days too. Another thing I wanted to ask, and I forgot to ask on the animal control, where are we at with the ordinances that you guys talked about?
we have our next
Possibly.
meeting Wednesday, this Wednesday?
Next one.
Next Wednesday, yeah.
No,
A private meeting,
this one's.
No, that'd be a committee.
That's a public one.
It doesn't, yeah, every Wednesday.
animal control.
Yeah, we have that'll fall under ordinance, and it'll get ordinance,
That's what we're gonna be talking about.
we're gonna be getting ordinance.
And when is that meeting again? This Wednesday or next? Monday? A week from this Wednesday,
A week from this Wednesday, because we were doing it,
before the regular meeting.
Yeah,
well, when is Ryan available? Is Ryan on?
Ryan's on vacation next week.
I come back on the real late on the 29th.
Yeah, we're already,
Yeah,
we passed
the
the
actual-
meeting.
yeah, the meeting is 27th,
Yeah.
and then, yeah.
Yeah. Which one would you, what Wednesday would you?
I'm fine, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever,
This week.
this week I'm fine, whatever, if Ryan's available this week, I can do it this week.
Just let me know so I can get an agenda.
Is there any other meetings up here?
Six,
Which one?
Is there any meetings on Wednesday?
Wednesday?
Okay, let us know this Wednesday, 6:00.
So 6 o'clock
Who's
here.
gonna get me an agenda?
Who's gonna, Riley will need the agenda tomorrow, more than 24 hours in advance. Who should she contact for that?
You.
Okay, I'll reach out
I'll
to
get it to you,
Okay.
because it's gonna be talking about, definitely the animal
Okay.
ordinance.
Okay.
That's probably gonna be the main topic,
Okay.
is the animal ordinance, so we can get that hashed and then get it sent to all the proper places.
Just let me know.
And then we set back with that was just a change in attorneys.
Is there any other miscellaneous business? The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn. We have a motion to adjourn. Make a motion. We have a first and second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries.
Yes.
We are adjourned.
You know, one time I was like 17.
Thank you, everybody.